Hello everyone, and thank you for taking the time to listen to this presentation. This is not a story about completed development project. It's a story about how transformation began. It's a story about heritage, leadership, uncertainty, and the collective effort of people who believed that a place could be seen differently. Through a critical auto-ethnographic lens, I will share some reflection on how this process unfolded in Mirbat, Dhofar in Oman, and what it taught me about transformation in practice. Mirbat is a coastal heritage town with a deep cultural importance. However, at the starting point of this journey, it was relatively underactivated in terms of tourism and economic development. There was no clear development roadmap, and institutional priorities were still evolving. Typically, development is expected to follow a structured path: government strategy, then planning, then investment. But what I experienced in Mirbat didn't follow this sequence. Instead, the process began with exploration, conversations, ideas, small initiatives, and attempts to understand the potential of the place. There was an uncertainty and at times resistance, but also curiosity and openness. As part of the process, I was directly involved in shaping and engaging with these initiatives. This position allowed me to experience the dynamic of leadership, institutional interaction, and opportunity formation as they unfold in real time. This is what makes the research autoethnographic. It is grounded in lived experience. As a researcher participant, I experienced this development as they happened, rather than looking back at them after the event. What changed the trajectory was not a formal plan. It was alignment between leadership in the private sector and leadership within government institutions around a shared purpose. That shared purpose was not only economic. It was about heritage, community, value, and creating meaningful opportunity for the region. Once the alignment began to form, momentum followed. One of our early realizations was that before Mirbat could attract greater tourism activity, investment, or development opportunities, it first needed visibility. The Whole City Initiative and the championships were therefore designed not only as events, but as mechanisms for heritage revival, storytelling, and place visibility at local, regional, and international levels. One of the biggest challenges we faced was not organizing the event itself. Even though it was our first experience delivering a horse championship of this scale, we believed that with commitment, teamwork, and careful planning, we could overcome the operational challenges. The real challenge was convincing people that this idea was possible. At the time, some stakeholders found it difficult to imagine that an internationally recognized horse event could succeed in a place like Mirbat, which was not widely known within tourism and equestrian community. There was a question about whether such an initiative could make a meaningful contribution and attract a wider attention. As a result, we often had to work much harder than expected. We found ourselves repeatedly explaining the vision, building support step by step, and maintaining momentum despite uncertainty. Looking back, one of the lessons I learned is that new ideas often face resistance, not because people are against them, but because they cannot see yet what the future might look like. What kept us moving forward was a shared belief that if we are going to do it, we have to do it properly. Rather than lowering our ambition, the team focused on achieving the highest possible standard in judging, organization, presentation, and participant experience. The results exceeded our expectations. Following the success of the 2024 championship, ICAO recognized the quality of the event and advanced it directly to international B status, skipping the normal progression that many events follow. For us, this was an important moment. It was very emotional. It showed that a heritage-led initiative from an emerging destination could achieve international recognition when supported by commitment, collaboration, and focus on quality. The outcomes of the initiative went beyond the successful delivery of events. What became visible was a broader shift in how Mirbat was being perceived. Heritage began to be viewed not only as something to be preserved, but also as a catalyst for engagement, tourism, and future opportunities. The championships helped create visibility at local, regional, and international levels. They also demonstrated how collaboration around a shared purpose could generate momentum and encourage wider participation. For me, this was one of the clearest signals that a process of transformation had begun. One of the most important lessons I learned through this experience is that transformation is rarely the result of a single individual or a single initiative. It emerges through the collective efforts of people who are willing to invest time, energy, and believe in shared purpose. The team involved in this initiative demonstrated a remarkable competency, patience, and a commitment to equality. Much of what was achieved came through continuous learning, adapting, and striving to deliver outcomes that were meaningful rather than merely successful. Looking back, I would not claim that we transformed heritage on our own. However, I do believe that we contributed to creating momentum and a different conversation around heritage. There is now a greater visibility, greater interest, and a growing recognition that heritage can play an important role in tourism, community identity, and future opportunity. Perhaps the most rewarding outcome is seeing heritage increasingly incorporated in development initiative, tourism program, and destination branding efforts. This suggests that a shift has begun not because of a single event, but because a collective effort helped people see new possibility in what was already there. One of the most important factors in this journey was enabling governance leadership. Supportive leadership within the governor's office helped create the condition for collaboration between the public sector, private sector, and the wider community. Rather than simply approving initiatives, this leadership helped creating confidence, alignment, and momentum around a shared purpose. Looking back, one of the key insights from this experience is that transformation was not driven by a single individual, organization, or plan. It emerged through the interaction of leadership initiative, institutional openness, and cross-sector alignment around a shared purpose. When this alignment came together, new possibilities began to emerge and gain momentum. Transformation is not always designed from the beginning. In many cases, it is discovered through action, relationship, and alignment.